Hi everyone, this is Krishna Thakkar and thanks for tuning in today's podcast. As you know, in the previous podcast, we discussed a conversation between Ram and Bharat, which was a very beautiful conversation where Ram mentioned the duties of a king. Today, as promised last time, we shall discuss the conversation between Ram and Bharat and how and why Ram refuses to obey Bharat and come back to the kingdom. It would have been so simple. Bharat says, "My mother Kaikeyi is here. She is ready to take back the vows. You come and you rule the kingdom of Ayodhya." But isn't it foolish? Now that the entire kingdom, even his brother Bharat and his mother Kaikeyi, everybody wants him to go back, then why is Ram adamant to stay where he is? Let's see. First, Bharat says, "This kingdom was given to me to satisfy my mother. Now I give it to you. Accept it. The kingdom has become a bridge breached by flood. Only you can make it secure again. I cannot compare myself with you any more than a donkey can equal a horse, or an ordinary bird can match a Garuda. Ram, life is difficult enough when others depend on a man, but it must be harder still when a man is dependent on others. Suppose a man plants a sapling and nurtures it until it grows into a mighty tree, a tree so tall that no small man can climb it. If the tree bears flowers and does not fruit it, it offers no benefit to those for the sake who it was planted. The significance of this metaphor cannot be lost on you. This is what would happen to us if we were ruled by any other than you. Let the prominent citizens see you firmly established as the king. Elephants will trumpet with joy when you enter the city, and there will be much rejoicing by the women in the inner apartments." Bharat also meant to tell Ram not only he should get it because he is the eldest son, he should because he deserves it. And when people have made so much of efforts, his guru has made so much of effort to raise him, to make him a good king, now people deserve a good king. Ram should take it as his duty. Let's see what Ram has to answer. Ram says, "Bharat, no man can do exactly as he pleases, for he is not his own master. His fate drags him here and there. All wealth is spent. Men rise only to fall. All unions lead to separations, and death is the end of life. As a ripe fruit has nothing to fear but falling, so a man has nothing to fear but death. As a house supported by huge pillars must decay and collapse, so a man must fall prey to disease and old age. Days and nights move on, diminishing the lives of all beings. Just as surely as the heat of the sun dries up the moisture in the earth. Do not mourn for yourself or others. Life moves on, regardless of whether you stay still or are active. Death is always by your side. It walks with you and sits down with you. If you go on a journey to a faraway place, death will return with you. Wrinkles appear, hair whitens, men are worn down with age. How can we control these things? We rejoice when we see the sun rise every morning and set every evening without realizing that with it our lives are passing too. Our father has gone to the heaven because he did good deeds and respected people. He performed sacrifices and gave ample gifts to the poor. A wise man would not succumb to mourn and grief like this under these circumstances. Calm yourself. Put an end to your sorrow. Go back to your city as our father had asked you to do. And I shall live here as he asked me to do. I cannot ignore his wishes, neither should you." Now Ram is being told, once Dashrath is dead, how will it matter if Ram fulfills the wishes or no? Dashrath, as it is, would never come to know. Ram's guru said, "Ram, a noble and intelligent man like you should not think like a common person. Every man is born alone and dies alone. Who is related to whom? What is the meaning of family? A man who clings to a mother or a father must be considered deluded. No one is anything to anyone. Just as a man arrives in the village and stays somewhere for the night and leaves the next morning, so mothers and fathers are mere stops along the way in life. A wise man does not cling to these. Do not renounce your father's kingdom and take the difficult path, for King Dashrath has already passed away. In fact, do your duty and rule the land. You become the king of Ayodhya, enjoy the luxuries. Bharat further goes on to say, I was born of the noble and the righteous Dashrath. How can I, knowing what is right and just, do what is wrong and despicable? The virtuous king was our father and our teacher. He was like God to us. He is dead now, so I should not speak ill of him in this company. But who would do such an unjust and cowardly thing, so against his own interest, simply to please a woman? There's an old saying which says that living beings lose their mind at the time of death. That has certainly been borne out of King's reactions. Ram, you should make good the wrong committed by our father in his rage and his infatuation. The son that rights his father's wrongs is considered worthy in the eyes of the world. Prove yourself worthy by repudiating our father's actions that are condemned by all righteous people. Redeem us all, me, Mother Kaikai, our family, and our friends, our people, by doing the right thing. How can a Kshatriya live in forest? How can a king have matted hair? You should not be acting like this. If you truly want to walk on the path of dharma that is littered with hardships and difficulties, you should be ruling everybody justly. Wise men say that of all the 4 stages of life, the stage of householder is the greatest. You know dharma. How can you renounce this stage? I am younger than you in age and inferior to you in rank. How can I possibly rule when you are still alive? Do your duty and rule this land. Though Bharat begged and pleaded, resolute Ram had made up his mind. Bharat further goes on to say that what is the value of people once they are dead? Now that King Dashrath is dead, how does it matter if Ram fulfill his promises or no? Who knows what happens to a person after death? So he says, see how much men waste food performing rituals for the dead. Can a dead man eat? The books that tell you to perform sacrifices, do penance and give gifts are written by wily men who want to help others spend their money. You're wise enough to know that there is no world other than this one. Believe in what you see and turn your back on the unseen. Take the kingdom. To which Ram replies, what you have just said is totally unacceptable, though it seems appropriate. Completely improper, though it seems reasonable. The following sentence that he says is very beautiful. The man who lives without restraints walks an unrighteous path. He does not live in accordance with our sacred teachings, and he shall never have the respect of good men. It is a man's character and his deeds that determine whether he is high or low born, pure or impure, brave or simply a hoax. The timeless rules of kingship are bound by truth and compassion. Truth is the mainstay of kingship, and the world is established in truth. The gods and sages declare truth to be the highest goal. It is supreme in the world and exalts one to heaven. Men despise a liar as they despise snakes. Truth controls the world and is only refuge. It is the basis of everything. Nothing is greater than truth. Gift giving, sacrifices, penances, good deeds, even the Vedas are established in truth, and therefore it is of highest good. How can I fail to carry out my father's promise when I am committed to it by an oath of truth? I cannot violate my father's bond with truth out of greed, delusion, or even out of ignorance. Gods and ancestors reject the offerings of men who are fickle and do not keep their word. It is clear to me that every man must hold to the truth. That is dharma. It is for this reason alone that ascetics command so much respect. I renounce the dharma of a Kshatriya because it is fundamentally unrighteous, even though it has some good things about it. It attracts the base, cruel, greedy, and those inclined to the wicked. What you have just asked me to do is wrong, even though you have supported it with a great many arguments. I promised my father in the presence of elders and teachers that I would live in the forest. How can I do what Bharat wants without breaking that promise? By living in the forest, I shall be able to pursue purity by eating simple foods and making offerings to the gods and the ancestors. I shall nourish my body, but go through life without deceit, depending on my powers of discrimination. This small conversation that Ram has with Bharat has so many implications even for us in our daily lives. The people we meet, all of these things are going to go away one day or the other. And what stays back is how much we followed our dharma. So, this small conversation has so much hidden meaning, and I hope you like this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you wish to send a cheering note or a feedback, please note down the email ID. It's krishnathakkar61@gmail.com. I repeat, KRISHNATHAKKAR61@gmail.com. Do tune into for other podcasts as well. Till then, have a happy day. Bye-bye.